Better. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Okay, Max.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's have a brief prayer before we start. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day you have given us. We pray for our county and our country and the world, for that matter, with everything that's going on with the virus. We wish we all could do more, but just glad everybody is safe. Hope everybody's family stays safe. Guide us through this, make the right decisions, and help us come out great on the other side. Amen. All right, Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Pitts,
Here.
Commissioner Toller,
Here.
Commissioner Foster,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Gould,
Here.
all present.
All right, having a quorum to call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda, we have minutes from our regular meeting on March 13th. Everybody had a chance to look at those? Yes. I move we accept as presented. I'll second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Foster, Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. I'm having trouble hearing Lance. Yeah, I am too.
Get a little closer.
All right, next item on the agenda is public comments, which have to be in by 8 o'clock this morning with the way we're doing the meeting. We did have one series of comments from Tim Denny, the attorney representing the city of Jonesboro. I'm going to let Angie read his questions and I will answer them to the best of my ability.
Okay, so I got the email from Mr. Denny. It says, I have a few questions regarding the dispatch agreement to pass along. Question number 1, why did the county decide to ask the municipalities to vote and sign the agreement before they discuss it?
Brief answer to that, the board members discussed all of this back last fall when we were doing the budget process. The board acknowledged being in agreement when the additional revenue was added to the county's budget that was adopted in December 2019. We discussed it at, I think, 2 different meetings in November. All the board members voted yes to include the additional revenue in the budget that we are currently operating.
All right. Question number 2, why did the county ask the municipalities vote and sign the agreement before they voted and signed the agreement?
The county drafted the agreement and sent them to the municipalities back in February. Since we were not sure who would elect to participate, we asked the municipalities vote and sign the agreement and back for a final signature. Signing all the agreements ahead of time before knowing, who was going to participate really didn't seem necessary as a proper thing to do. Since you've asked that we vote and sign the agreements, we have put them on the agenda today to approve, so hopefully that answers that question.
Okay, third question. The city was told the county will save money by reduction in force by eliminating dispatchers if the municipalities do not sign on. Since they must have at least one dispatcher on duty 24/7 and a second dispatcher on duty during peak times, how do they eliminate a dispatcher and save money?
Well, if just municipalities decide not to participate with the county in dispatch, our call volume is obviously going to decrease. Matter of fact, that particular call volume will be cut in half. As a result of that, and we don't know, we may not need two dispatchers at the time. Half the call volume is quite a bit. However, this decision will be made at a later date, and, you know, we want to see what happens with that volume and determine the actual operational need as time goes on.
Okay. Question 4, does the county's collective bargaining agreement allow them to reduce the number of dispatchers?
In the sheriff's collective bargaining agreement with that group, there is no minimum staffing.
Number 5, will the money the municipalities pay be spent on dispatch and or the sheriff's department, or will the county just reduce the sheriff's budget by the amount paid for dispatch and use the money for general fund items?
The cost of dispatch is what we're asking the municipalities to pay for. The money is deposited in the general fund, where 100% of dispatch costs are paid from. It's all going to be for the benefit of the sheriff's department, not the highway department or whatever.
Question number 6. In the light of need for growing cooperation among law enforcement, first responders, due to budget crunches for all government entities, what does the county think about a broader cooperation between the county and the municipalities? And Max, before you answer that, I sent him another email and said, you know, can you elaborate on that? And I don't really understand what he's asking in that question. He just said local leaders have been talking about coming together for police and fire. And I asked him, was he talking about, you know, municipalities getting rid of their own police and fire and the county doing it? But I hadn't gotten a response. So I don't know, you can answer that question however you want. I don't really know what that means.
Well, I don't really understand it either. I mean, I would like to think what we're trying to do here is a broader cooperation between everybody, but only answer.
Okay. Question 7. Who drafted the contract proposed by the county to the city?
Angie, the county administrator, drafted the agreement and provided it to everyone in February of this year. However, she used the same agreement that was drafted for Anna back in 2014. I don't remember who drafted that agreement. I think maybe the previous county administrator, but I'm not sure.
Is the county willing to meet to negotiate the terms and or price of the agreement, or is this a take it or leave it proposition?
My memory serves me right. Angie and I attended Jonesboro City Council meeting in February, and again in March. Or I should say Angie, I think, attended in February. Both of us attended in March. The terms of agreement are not applicable. We discussed that at the meeting and made that perfectly clear. We've made every effort to ensure timely notification was received before each of the municipalities' budgets were adopted, and have built numerous discounts into the model. The amounts were discounted as we gave the numbers to each individual municipality, 28%, and then another 35% discount was given for fiscal year 2020. thereby effectively only asking approximately 47% of the actual cost. We could have asked for the full amount, negotiated, but the county decided it was best not to waste time and go ahead and offer discounted amounts from the very beginning.
Okay, and then the last question is, the county has provided dispatch services in cooperation with the city of Jonesboro for over 40 years. This issue was first presented to Jonesboro in February. Does the county have the legal authority and ability to unilaterally terminate an agreement regarding public safety on such short notice?
The answer to that is yes. The county has the authority to change the agreement. The agreement would not terminate until June 30th, which is 4.5 months notice. Everybody has looked and talked about this for several months now. In the story.
Okay, and then we had one other public comment. I'm going to try to read the portion of it that I believe is relevant for our board meeting. The end of it was an email to Mr. Denny from another board member on Jonesboro's board. The gentleman's name is Stephen Haldeman. His email says that I understand that the county commissioners are having a meeting Tuesday evening on Zoom. I do hope and pray that this is to delay any action on the dispatch service until the governor has lifted all COVID-19 restrictions and the city councils are able to have a real meeting in person and have extended debates. Anything short of that would be rushed and certainly betray the public trust in local government during these rough times. I also question the commissioner's ideology on assessing fees onto the communities before actually voting themselves authorizing said contracts to the communities. And then he has some questions, an email that he sent to his attorney with questions, so.
Well, I feel we could just answer these. That was directed to Attorney Denny. He in return has given the questions to us, so I consider that answered.
And that's all we had.
That's all the public comments, right?
Yes.
Okay. Under new business, approving payment of bills, everybody got a chance to so forth?
Yes. 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 I move we pay our bills as presented. I'll second.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item under new business is an ordinance declaring it necessary and convenient to transfer ownership of property from city of Anna, Illinois to the county of Union, Illinois to improve said property. This is relating to animal control and the area out there that we are in the process of getting an intergovernmental agreement between the city and us. I understand right. I see the state's attorney is there. This has to be formally done here at this meeting in order for this to move forward. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Per statute, an ordinance needs to be passed showing that we intend to utilize and also improve that land, which I believe by putting a new building there, which is desperately needed, we need to do this. So yes, and Anna has all of the intergovernmental agreement paperwork. So really, this is just the last step we need to do to take care of it.
Okay, I make a motion that we introduce this ordinance, to pass this ordinance, declaring it necessary and convenient to transfer ownership between the city of Anna and the county of Union to improve said property.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Toller. All right. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Next item, or items under new business, are, as asked for, intergovernmental agreement by and between the county of Union and the various municipalities. We'll approve each one of these one at a time. The first one, between the city of Anna, regarding provision of communication and dispatch services. I make a motion that we, this intergovernmental agreement by and between the County of Union, Illinois, and the City of Anna regarding provision of communication and dispatch services.
I'll second.
Commissioner Gould, you second?
Yes.
Sorry. All right. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Item D, I make a motion, we introduce and accept the intergovernmental agreement by and between the city of, or the county of Illinois and the city of Jonesboro, Illinois regarding the provision of communication and dispatch services. Second.
Commissioner Pitts? All right. Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Item E, I propose an intergovernmental agreement by and between the County of Union, Illinois and the Village of Coppin, Illinois regarding the provision of communication and dispatch services. Second.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Item F, I propose and introduce intergovernmental agreement by and between the County of Union, Illinois and the Village of Bonneville, Illinois regarding the provision of communication and dispatch services. Second.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
That's everything on the agenda, guys. Anybody have anything else to bring up or want to discuss?
No, I don't have any.
No, not today. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. I'll say that.
Pitts? Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your cooperation. All right. See y'all next time.
Yep. See ya.